Do you feel like you give way too much of your money to the grocery store and then you get home and you're putting the food away and you realize you already have a crap ton in your freezer and your fridge and your pantry, and you just realize that way too much of your money is getting blown? Well, that's where I'm at. In March 2019, I'm doing a no spend challenge on groceries to save money on food. I'm Liz from Veggie Every Day, and I'm here to tell you how you can do this easy challenge any time of year. First, let me tell you why I'm doing this. I haven't really talked about this yet on my channel, but I've really been focusing on getting my financial life together and trying to pay down my debts and save up more, because every time a big emergency comes up, I'm just scraping by. I found out today I have to get a new roof, and it's a whole ugly situation, and I don't have $6,000 just sitting in the bank. I've really been working on this, and I've been making strides, and I've noticed that food is the one place I'm really just spending way too much money. And if you're looking for good tips, One Big Happy Life is a couple on YouTube that I really love. I'll put the link in there for you. So here's how I'm doing it, and here's how you can do a no spend challenge on groceries, or, if that's not your problem, on something else for yourself. First thing you need to do is decide what's manageable. I've seen people that do a no spend for a year. For me, I just feel like that's setting myself up for failure. A month seems pretty doable for most people, and so that's what I decided to do for March. And another reason I wanted to do this is I do some reviews on my Instagram and some other things, and people have told me they find them really helpful. And I want to be able to do more of those for you. I want to do Hungry Root, I want to do Bistro MD, some of the meal services, but I feel guilty when I've got so much food in my fridge. And every month I'm like, oh, I'll just, as soon as my groceries are lower, I'll order it and I'll do these things, but it doesn't, because I just keep buying groceries. So the next thing you want to do is identify your problem area. Where is it that you're spending money that you really, really don't need to? For me, it used to be beauty products, and it was nuts how much I would, I have 3 conditioners, but I need to try this other one. And I put myself on a spending freeze with that, and I've got that under control, and really food is still the one area where I'm struggling. So for you, it may be clothes, it may be any number of things. So you can put yourself on a specific no spend for whatever it is that you really feel like you need to save money on in that area of your life. Third thing is that you want to set some rules for your challenge. And you really want to base this on what's really a want and what's really a need, and decide what you can live with and what you can't live with. So my rules are pretty easy. I am not buying any groceries with the exception of alcohol, pop, and necessities like toilet paper. I did not put any restrictions on eating out because I really only eat out once or twice a week at max. It's not really a problem for me. My next tip is to forgive yourself if you mess up. I am about halfway through the month and I've already messed up a couple of times, and I was really tempted to just throw it out the window and say, screw it, I'm not finishing this challenge. But it's worth it to me to continue, and just because I'm trying and continually trying for 30 days, I'm gonna make an impact and find, savings where I can put that money towards other things that I need it for, like the new roof. And so I've continued, and you gotta forgive yourself and say, nope, I'm learning, and this is what works for me and this is what doesn't, and move on. So the first mistake I made was I realized I didn't put cheese on the list. And for me, that's like a pretty hardcore necessity. I'm pretty addicted, as I've mentioned before. And I made this exception. I found it on sale, 5 for $10, so that's pretty much gonna set me up for the month. I did not buy any additional cream cheese, cottage cheese, or any other dairy, because I'd already stocked my house up on protein, which is super essential if I was going to do this challenge. I wanted to keep losing weight. I wasn't going to sacrifice that. And that's a hard balance people find sometimes, is keeping both your money and your weight loss on track at the same time. And so I accounted for that in this challenge, making sure that I had enough protein in the house before I started doing it. But then the cheese came up and I was like, yeah, okay, we'll add that. So the next one, and this was kind of my big mistake so far, is I realized that I needed to make an exception for meals that I wanted to prepare for you guys and recipes that I wanted to do for Veggie Every Day. Now, for example, I'm doing a vegetarian full Irish breakfast, which I'm super excited about, so I wanted to make an exception for that. But where I screwed up was I decided, I'll also make an exception for things that I'm reviewing for you guys, like prepared foods, different kinds of frozen foods that I do. I got a little carried away. I decided that was a bad idea because I was putting more food into the house, and I'm still not gonna be eating down the other food, and it negated my goal. So it was a lesson though, because I learned that for me, for my challenge, that was not a good rule to have. So I literally adopted that rule on one shopping trip, and after that shopping trip, I was like, nope, that's not an exception that I'm gonna allow. So last tip I have is get creative, especially if you're doing this no grocery challenge. There's a couple of apps and sites that are really helpful. I've mentioned Plate Joy before. You enter what's in your pantry and it'll shoot out a meal plan for you that will incorporate those ingredients and help you eat down your kitchen. It is about $8 a month. There's another one called Supercook, which does individual recipes when you put in the ingredients, and that one I'm pretty sure is a free app, and I'll put links to both of those in the description if you want to use those. So that's kind of how it's gone so far. In April, I'm gonna give you a full rundown of how the challenge went, what I would do different, or more tips that you can use if you wanna do something similar. In the meantime, go ahead and like this video if you're benefiting from this, and tell me in the comments, have you ever done a no spend challenge? And if not, what's stopping you from doing one? All right, thank you for joining us today and have a great day.